Local Boss, which is an app to track your rating on Google Maps. So it's for businesses that want to try to reach some higher ratings. So that's he will explain a bit about this, and he's going to talk about market sophistication for indie developers.
Thank you very much. All right. Let me just set up the presentation very quick and see if it works. We're trying something new here. And actually, you explained it very well. Local Boss is nice. Local Boss is a Google Maps review tracker. So can you play the presentation? I was going to ask how many of you are actual indie developers or solopreneurs. So we know it's 7 of you. Actually, the ones who raise your hands, how many of you come from a development background? A little. So only half of you. The others come from marketing background, maybe? Business development, okay, some. And the other guys, girls, for the background?
Yeah, I'm coming from marketing.
Marketing too?
Yeah,
cool.
background.
So I assume here in marketing we do a lot of assumptions. Sometimes I assume that most of you will come from the development background, so I prepared something related to marketing, because regardless of your background, if you are a solopreneur, you have your marketing week. And for most of you, it's a pain. I'm a marketer, so I've been working on marketing for the last 10 years as a full-time job, but I've been in the technology industry since the dot-com bubble. So I've done a lot of marketing for startups, technological companies, so I thought I will give you some tips, some cool stuff that you can apply to your projects, okay? So that's what we're gonna talk today. I want to present you a framework called, from the title, Marketing Sophistication. And it's not mine. So this framework comes from this guy, Eugene Swchartz. You can see from the dates that actually he never saw the internet actually like a product, because he died in 95. Eugene Swchartz was an amazing marketer. He was a copywriter in Madison Avenue. Have you watched Mad Men? Must watch show Unmissable. So he was one of them. He was a Don Draper, and he sent thousands of campaigns via mail, no email, post. Okay, that's how direct marketing used to be done back in the day. And with the learnings of those thousands of campaigns, he built this framework that he called market sophistication. What is it about? Marketing sophistication is a model that divides any market in 5 levels, according to only 2 variables, very easy variables. Number 1 is the number of competitors in your market, and the number 2 is how much people know from your solution, from your category, from your product. Any market that you can think of. Give me a market. Mateo, a market. Cars. How many competitors are there? A lot. Okay. How much we know about cars? When we buy a car, how much we know? We look for just give me something fast, or we know I want mileage, I want this color, tires. We know a lot about that market. So it gives us that cars is a highly sophisticated market. Okay? Let's keep on. Perfect, 10 minutes left. Let's keep on with the first level. The first level is, level 1, is the new market. Like McDonald's in the, I don't know if it was in the 50s, the first time that you create a new market, in this case, was fast food for drivers, okay? Or fast burgers. Probably many of you, what you are launching, what you're doing, part-time or full-time, is creating a new market, a new category. So that's very important for you at this level. Understand how to market properly in this level, okay? What do you do when you are first in the category? You focus on the problem. You explain how you solve that problem. Period. Period. Sometimes we start a project. I just started Local Boss. You guys are starting something. And we try to accomplish a lot in the initial stage when we don't need to. So you don't need a lot of marketing. You don't need social media. You don't need CRM. You don't need sales structure, because you just started creating a new market. What you need to do is to understand very well the problem that you're solving and focus on explaining super clear what you do. Why? Because people have no clue about the solution that you are proposing. So you need to be super clear in the explanation. A mistake that we do a lot is that we launch our product, and instead of explaining what it does, in my case, it's a tracker for reviews in Google Maps. That's what Local Boss does. We say, no, it's unleash the power of your customers. Yeah, but what do you do? Ignite the potential. I see that all the time. Doesn't it happen to you that you arrive to a landing page of a new product and you have to spend like 3-4 minutes to figure out what they do? Because it happens to me all the time. It's like, could you explain me like plain and simple in a low maturity or low sophistication level what you do? For instance, this guy, back in the day, this is now the screenshot. Make customer service your superpower. Okay? How and why do you have a kid on a suit with a helmet and wings? It's like, what do you do? Do you do costumes? I mean, it's like, it's complicated. Actually, in the next level, I'm going to show you the same company nowadays, how they changed that, because probably this was not working, okay? Let's take a look at a SaaS that we all know. Back in the day, in the early 2000s, when Salesforce started. Look at their website. I know it's a bit small for the guys in the back, but basically what they do, they explain what they do. Customer relationship management, not CRM, okay? Customer relationship management, they explain it. It's a software in the web that you can use from any browser, etc. Okay? Because they understood they were in a low sophistication level that they had to explain what they did. They did well, of course, not only for that, but for many reasons. So level 1, focus on the problem. Okay, don't spend too much time trying to fix everything, solve everything. Focus on understanding the problem well and explaining it well. Okay. Actually, very briefly, because I will run out of time. Don't try to find the scale growth in a level 1 market, please. I see people trying to find the client 1,000 before having the client 1. And the tactics that we need for client 1, 2, and 3 are different than the ones that we need for client 10, and different than the one that we need for client 100. So we see on Twitter what an amazing company is doing, and we try to replicate, but we don't have what they do, and we are not operating in the same level of sophistication. So basically, that's the idea. So the rest, it's kind of common sense, right? Number 2, level number 2. We create a market, of course, if it works, it will attract new players. You know? So we have the annoying Burger King, coming to step in our turf. What do we do in a level 2? Basically, if you are competing with someone who is the leader, or you are the leader and you are being competed, what you do is you build on what is working for the leader. So if the leader is doing something well, you just do it better, faster, quicker, cheaper. Because the maturity is low, the sophistication is low, and people, they don't know very much about the category. They don't really understand a lot. I don't know if electric cars, EVs, are right now in a level 2, level 3, because if we have to buy an EV, we are not very savvy. I don't know what I should be asking, right? In a few years, we will be in a much more mature market, but right now, what would you do? So you can overpromise in this stage. Of course, you have to deliver as well, but you work on what is working better. Okay. Let me give you super quick examples of level 2. Look at these guys. The same company we saw before with a terrible positioning in level 1. So now what they do, they say, deliver better customer service. You wouldn't believe the use of better, how well it works in level 2. In a sophisticated level, if you say, no, my Samsung is better than iPhone, people are going to be like, what? Prove it? That's level 4, we'll see. But in a level 2, you can actually do it, and it works. It works for a lot of reasons that I don't have time to explain, but you get, okay? They don't show a kit anymore, they show a screenshot of what they do, okay? That's good, but maybe that's a bit late, but anyway, I hope this works for them guys, okay? Look at these people, and we are going to share 3 examples of the same category. They are clearly positioning on a level 1. We have businesses manage customer reviews at scale, and a nice picture showing what they do. Perfect, but you know you are not the only one. I'm trying to navigate here the slides. These guys, on the other hand, they go to the fluffy, complex, what do you do again? You know, actually they're talking about customers when they are a B2B product. They do the same thing that the guys before, okay? Local channel managers. Let's see an example of what I consider proper positioning. So what we see here is everything local businesses need to grow. Still a little bit of description, collect reviews, convert leads, screenshots, so you can clearly understand what they do. And they are better because they have everything. So if you know a little bit of the category, they are telling you, come with me, you're not going to make a mistake, okay? Next level, what happens when McDonald's, Burger King start doing well and the market starts growing? That we have more players. We have Pizza Hut, we have Subway, we have everyone coming to sell fast food, and we need to adapt our tactics, okay? We cannot keep marketing as we did on day 1. So, what do we do in a mature market? What we do in a mature market, we start focusing on the product, on our solution. We need to explain how it is unique, because knowledge is increasing, okay? Everyone starts to get about the category, about what we do. We need to find something that is unique. I know that this theory coming from someone who worked in marketing in the 50s doesn't sound very up to date until you see people like Apple doing this. Perfect example of level 3. iPad, when it was a level 3 stage, this is our picture, they came up with Retina display. What is Retina display? Someone knows? Kevin for sure, because he's an Apple fan. But it's just a high quality screen. You know, that's what made different iPads than Samsung tablets, than Samsung tabs, you know? And then everyone starts building their unique, it's not a feature, but like super feature, you know, the unique characteristic. So you don't buy an iPad for reading a newspaper, you buy it because it has Retina display, even if you don't know what it is. So these people are marketing us as they market housewives in the 50s. So, you know, we should learn a thing or two of good old time marketers. Have 1 minute left, but don't worry because the later stages, 4 and 5, they are not that relevant for us as solo entrepreneurs because, of course, it gets costlier and more complicated to operate and compete on these markets. But, just so you know, we get to the saturation. So we get to a point where everyone is Retina displaying, everyone has all the features. We see some, we see that the market or the audience begins to have somehow a disbelief in the category because pretty much everyone does it perfectly, everyone has all the features. So now what we do is we focus on evidence. We have to prove for the first time that we are the best solution. And actually that's what you see when you go to, and you can go to Salesforce right now. We saw Salesforce when they began. If you go to Salesforce right now, they say, that's the homepage, they say, increase leads by 300%. These other guys, they say, the world's most loved CRM, but they prove it in the second line. We won this contest or this award. You have to prove it. So it's very important that you get back their recognition and the trust of your audience. We have 20 seconds left just to talk about Number 5, what do we do in level number 5? It's about identification. It's when branding comes to play. And that's what brands were created, so we didn't have to choose, right? If you're an iPhone person, you don't consider buying anything else. And actually here you don't talk about features, you don't talk about product, you just talk about lifestyle and how you feel using your products. And that's it. Actually, I'm just going over time 30 seconds for the last 2 slides because we want to give room for some questions. The 2 takeaways, because you won't remember specifically the levels, but you get the idea, right? That you have to adapt to your context. Don't do marketing based on tweets, please. Because the guy who, or the woman who wrote that tweet, that worked for them or not. But they were in a different category, different level, different reality. And don't try to make everything. We are solopreneurs. We don't have the resources that companies that have busy money have, okay? So focus on something that you can add real value and build from that, okay? So that's how you go faster. And that's it, guys. Download the app. If you know any small business owner, please tell them to use Localboss. They will love it because I see the data and they love it. Thank you very much. We have time for a couple of questions.
And maybe repeat them so that we can hear them clearly.
Yeah. Marketing from the 50s. That's something, huh?
Just to get the ball rolling, it was an awesome presentation, thank you.
Thank you.
And I really like the idea that you don't try and copy Salesforce.
Actually, I'm going to hand you the mic.
Thank you. Oh, isn't that power? That was a very good presentation, awesome. And you didn't push your product at all, which is weird. I also like the idea that startups or one-man businesses don't copy Salesforce, because all our investors say copy Salesforce. Copy Salesforce, and that's not possible. What about you? What stage are you at, and what kind of marketing are you doing to drive your growth?
Actually, I apply my advice. So I'm in level 1. So it's a new category for small business owners. What I do exists for big chains and big corporations. But what I do, it doesn't exist for SMBs. So what I'm doing is, talk to your first 100 customers, understand behind every problem there's a product, so I'm in that stage. Actually, it's free because what I need right now is volume. I need people through the door to learn from them. And actually, they are helping us to fine-tune the features that we need to do, because we have a long list, like everyone loves doing features. Who doesn't love doing features? Okay. But you like doing features. But what's the point of doing features no one asked for, So ask your customer, what's the feature. So that's the stage. Marketing will come at some point, not now. I don't know, I don't have anyone to compete with, It's not a market, actually. If you don't have competitors, it doesn't qualify as a market. But that's marketing theory that we are not going to discuss today.
Thank you very much. It's very powerful. I have a question. I created a platform which is an ad tech platform, which means that as a seller, you can visit foodportal.com, or as a buyer, and you can find out which company, which online store sells the exact product you're looking for. So for example, it can be like a drink, and in most cases it's people looking for champagne and whiskey. Because I saw that the whole business in e-commerce is growing like crazy. And the thing is, it was going well in the beginning for quite a while, and then I was hit by a Google algorithm, which killed my traffic. And I wanted to ask you, so if you create a platform which depends on supply and demand, and you happen to have one of both and lose it, what can you do to keep the other side without them losing faith in your product?
Well, that's marketplaces. Oh my God, that's the thing with marketplaces, that you have to market for supply and for demand, so it's double nightmare. In your case, if you've been hit for an algorithm change and you don't have the power to compensate with ads, which that's what typically you will do, ads. I think the specific question is how to keep the supply engaged.
That's a better question.
It's a very good question. I don't think I have a quick answer for that. I'm sorry.
No problem. Just curious.
Yeah, it's quite a problem, but you'll figure it out.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Well, thank you guys.
So local